Welcome to Breaking the Chain. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Cody.
And we got a lot of news and a lot of really exciting news. It's a really, really cool week.
This is a very fun episode. I'm excited.
Yeah. Do you want to jump into your week of Flesh and Blood?
Yeah, my week in Flesh and Blood, it was probably a lot more involved than yours. I've been doing a lot of Silver Age practice. And it's because we have a Battlegrounds upcoming this Sunday. And I think it's one of 5 in the country or something like that, or even North America. I can't remember what it is. It's like there's very few.
It's like 5 or 4 or something.
Yeah, something like that. And there's one in Colorado Springs, which is like an hour drive from me, which is pretty cool. So I'm super excited for it. I have been actually really enjoying the Silver Age format a ton. Like, despite what people have been hearing about it and being just like a KO tier 0 format, that is not the case at all. In fact, you'll see more when we very likely do a tier list next week. There's been a ton of meta shifting around KO to make it not actually the tier 0 deck that everyone thinks it is. And there are some pretty good options there. It's a really good meta. I've been really enjoying it. I've been enjoying playing the games and tweaking the decks. And as a sneak peek, I'm playing Valda this Sunday. That's what I've been practicing.
I've done it. I've converted
it. he finally got me to play Guardian.
The best Guardian.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my week in Flesh. Just doing a ton of Silver Age practice, ton of refining the deck. How about you? You had a pretty slow week in Flesh and Blood, right?
So I went to 2 pro quests.
Yeah.
Top 8 both. And I won the second one. I finally did something cool.
Let's go! Jacob, what a pro quest.
Sick.
That's so sick.
So cool. I brought Valda to both. I was actually really happy with the deck. Oh man, there's like so much to say. I think it's a really good deck in the meta. Like, there's so many things that you're so happy to see. I think the only reason that Valda's not actually just best deck in meta is because Mario exists, and that matchup is extremely hard.
But you beat a very strong player on Mario in top 8.
So yeah, I can talk a little bit broadly about the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, over the weekend, yeah, I'll just go through like all my matches.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So first week I had Valda versus Vincent. Our first game of the first day, Valda versus Vincent. Ended up getting there. It was actually a very, very close game, and I think I lost if the opponent didn't miscount the damage I was throwing. Because they knew so I threw my hammer, but I had shield beater, and I was pummeling on it. So I was throwing for 9. And the opponent's like, oh, with pummel, it's going to be 8. So they blocked expecting 8 damage from pummel, and I'm like, okay, pummel for 9, which ended up being lethal. And I want to say I made a mistake early that game as well, where I blocked with my gloves and forgot to put the +1 counter on my attack. And that attack, he blocked all but like 1 damage anyway, so 2 damage would have leaked. And if I didn't make that mistake, it wouldn't have been that situation anyways. But I did end up getting there. Going into the next round, I played into a Victor. I got that. And I want to say, Valda owns the horse. Valda is so good into Victor.
That's a new catchphrase. Valda owns the horse.
So after I was talking to, I think it was like my cousin about like my results, because I get home and I live with my cousin. So I'm like, oh, like it was such a good day. Like I played and this was on Sunday, but I'm like, I played into so many Victors. I'm like, Valda just owns the horse.
Wait, so this was after the first pro quest, not after the second one, right?
So, well, this is the first one. I'm just like running through. I'm like,
I'm just clarifying for
I beat Nacilio, so 3-0. And then I play into a Gravy and get absolutely dumpstered. It was crazy. It was a cool and interesting matchup until he summoned 3 allies, which were Sawbones, Chum, and Whaler all in one turn.
I see. Wait, how do you summon all 3 in one turn? That's impressive.
It was crazy. And so I was pretty much dead at that point. Then I went into top 8 at that point and played a Jarl. It was a very good game. I started off very much on like the back foot. I went first because I was second seed overall, which was really cool. But I went first. Had like I think I threw Shield Beater and Arsenal something, nothing too crazy. But then the Jarl went on a tear and just like, okay, turn 1, Oak and Old. Took my hand away. I'm like, okay, I can't block my armor. Okay, I'll lose my hand, whatever. Turn 2, Terra Sundered. I'm like, okay, that's really bad. I can't block with my armor quite yet, so I guess I'll lose my hand. And then like turn 3, I guess I'll just throw 10 damage. I'm like, okay.
Where's just the hammer for 4?
Yeah, I'm like, what is this Oldhim deck? And so I started really behind on that matchup. I think I started like, I think it was like, I can't remember exactly what it was. It might have been like 33 to 24 at one point, or like 38 to 20. I can't remember exactly where the life total was, but life totals were. But I remember I was just so far behind. I think it was over 10 life. That's why I think it was like 38 to 24 after that big ensemble of damage. Because I just had to eat the 10 damage to throw more damage.
Right.
And that's where I was like, okay, like I just got to get into that. And I got that down to 2-1. And I actually felt really confident in winning that game. And the only card I lost to was the Elemental Strike, because he was able to dominate that off a 2-card hand. And he got the Elemental Strike. I mean, he played really well, and he like that he knew he won. I thought I won. And the Jarl ended up winning at that event, which was like really good.
Additional cost to play the Spanish card from your hand if it's Earth +2, Lightning, go again, Ice, Dominate. So they had an Earth Ice card. So just use.
So they just had an Earth card and a 7. They just like, or was it? It was what?
Like one of the pulses, right?
No, they just threw the Dominate on it. They just got the.
Oh, so it was just 5 Dominate?
Card. Yeah, it was just 5 Dominate.
Oh, okay. I see.
Or maybe it was Pulse. I don't remember. I just remember it being Dominate, and I couldn't block Dominate, and that was
yeah.
So I'm like, if it wasn't Dominate, I had Dominate the next turn, but
so
then I go
Jarl ran hot.
Yeah, well, I mean, his deck was like built that way, and it really threw me off because I should have. And this is where I think I made my mistake. I should have realized really early on that he didn't really have any ice cards. The only cards, like it was only the dual fuse that were his ice cards. He was just a really aggressive deck. And it's something if I like read his deck a little bit better, I could have blocked with my armor early. Like not even on the first couple attacks, but a little bit earlier on like some middle attacks that he threw to gain more momentum, or even earlier than what I did.
I see.
So it's like if I read the deck a little bit better, I would have been a little more poised to win. But then we go into the second day. And let me say that I made a mistake at some point in my deck building, and there was an extra blue in my deck.
No.
So starting off, but I'll explain that here in a second. It didn't actually matter, luckily, but I like felt so. First match, I played into a Victor. Got there. Second match, I played into a Vincent. I got that as well. I felt so bad for the Vincent because the Vincent, I just drew the juice. Like you always dream of like put them in their place, and to put them in their place, and to put them in their place, and to boulder drop pummel. I got it. I got it. I kept discarding their defense reactions, so they weren't able to get set a defense reaction in Arsenal. So I like discard their hand 3 turns in a row, and then boulder drop pummel them. I like after the game, I'm like, I don't know how you were supposed to get around all that, but they like, yeah, it was a crazy game. I was like, oh man, I just felt so bad because I had the juice. And
Sometimes you're
then
just him.
sometimes Valda just Valdas.
Yeah.
And then I go into match 3, and this is where like they deck check us. And another
see.
thing is I had an extra blue in my sideboard all morning. So if like it was at blue, but it's like I had an extra blue in the sideboard all morning. And if I needed the extra blue, I could always put it in. But it was like they deck checked us. I didn't think about it. I totally missed it. But so I had an IP2 going into round 3. And I think it was off. I think it wasn't a strong card either. So it wasn't like a majestic. It was just like a blue crush. It was just a different blue crush than it was
Just
supposed to be.
miscount from sideboarding or from the deck changes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I had an IP2 and I'm playing into Victor. And
I think that doesn't matter that much into Victor, does it?
I still won.
Yeah.
And this is where like I have the like idea of like Valder just owns the horse. So it's like one, I'm glad it got caught early before it like ended up mattering, because like that would have only mattered in like future matches if I played into Prism. Outside of that, like all day long I had the extra blue in my sideboard and the extra crush card didn't matter because I'm not running Crash and Bash in my list. So it's not like I would have cared to reveal
like
off of that either.
No Crash and Bashes?
No.
Oh, really?
Not easy. Yeah. So that's why I was like, it really didn't affect the list. It like just it didn't have any benefit of being in there other than like for a Prism would have been good. But luckily we caught it before all that happened. So I was very like happy that I got caught earlier in the day, but I still felt very bad. But anyways, going into the next matchup was against Kevin on Arachne, and that was a crazy matchup. We ended up going so far down, and I thought I had lethal so many turns in a row, and he just had all of the like fiddler greens and sigils.
Wait, so real quick, this is Arachne Huntsman, right?
Huntsman, yes. Sorry, this is Huntsman, and then also on top of that, the hunter hunted. I did an E strike turn, and this was like turn 1. I'm like E strike, go again. Hunter hunted hits the card in my hand, 3 cards a deck. Pretty rough. I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad. Okay. And then like turn 3 or 4, it maybe is a little bit later, hits all 3 Terra Sunders out of my deck.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then late game hits hits 2 solid grounds. So my 2 defense reactions, that like my late game defense reactions.
Is it that's the blue one?
Yeah. It's
you were on 3, right? So did you cut one recently?
No. I blocked with 1 early.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But I was like, every hit, I'm like, that was really good for you. Like the first hit was Aftershock. But it was something that like it was Aftershock Blue, which normally isn't very good. But I had Aftershock in my hand because I was gonna go E strike Aftershock Blue, which was gonna allow me to set up for Dominate, and I had a card I was gonna set in Arsenal, so I had Dominate next turn. I'm like, I have Dominate next turn. Aftershock Blue, like E strike. I'm gonna throw Aftershock Blue. I'm gonna have Dominate. I have this 10 crush card in my arsenal. This is gonna work out amazing. Hunter hunted, rips the Aftershock out of my hand. I'm like, oh no. Oh,
I just imagine your face when that happened.
Well, I wasn't even worried. I'm like, oh yeah, player hunted or hunted. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have this random blue in my hand, and then it hit, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is really bad. So I made mistakes late in that game. Like I should have pivoted to just hammering like 3 turns earlier than I did. It's just I kept setting up Dominate like through my pitch deck. I just had so much Dominate. I kept throwing my like blue attacks, which was just wrong. I just needed to like fatigue better. And that's where I'm like, I made a mistake. I learned a little bit from that. I ended up losing that matchup. But at this point, I think we were the only undefeated. So I felt pretty good. And I think I was like,
because day 2 or the second PQ was 30 players, right?
There's something like that.
I think it was 30 players. I can look it up really quick. But yeah, so you were 3-0, and then the round 4 you got your first loss, right?
Yeah. And then going into
30 players.
round 5, I played into a Prism. And this matchup, we like sit down and like sometimes Guardian v Prism gets really long because there's a lot of like really complicated like plays and all that stuff. So I sit down in front of this Prism and we play a really good game. And we get down to the point, and I didn't bring Arcane Barrier into this matchup. And I learned from this matchup that I should bring Arcane Barrier, and it gets relevant later. But I'm like, okay, I should probably bring Arcane Barrier. But I want to say, like, with 5 minutes left on the like clock, I had known I had won. Like, you ever like I had gotten to that game state where like
Yeah.
I knew I won the game,
Mhm.
but the opponent's still like playing to all their outs. But since there's so many like game actions and things going on, we ended up going to time. And it was something where I'm like, I know I won, but let's see what the opponent thinks. And the opponent thought like he thought he had an out, which I get a lot more, especially after seeing his hand. In the moment, I was like, "Wait, why are you?" He's like, "I like to play," and I'm like, "I've won already. I don't know why you want to play,
Yeah.
but okay." But then I saw like after he said he wanted to play, he threw Erudition for 5 dominate, and then he had 2 pumps on top of it in reaction step to make it 11 dominate. And if I didn't have a popper, he would have won that turn.
Oh, I see. So
and that's where I was like,
didn't have popper.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Like,
I get that. Yeah.
I get it now.
If you
Yeah,
like
I was
if you
like,
have an
okay.
out to potentially win, yeah. I don't blame him at all for
Oh
that
god.
then.
Yeah, it was something where I like after he played those cards, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. Like, I won't doubt him or fault him for that. And it was still like an amazing game. Like, it was still way closer than I wanted it to be. Like, I went all the way down to 2 life. But
that's one of those situations where I wish you could ask your opponent questions. But like they don't allow that anymore, right? Like if he was allowed to say like, "Do you have a popper?"
You have a right.
And then if you could like show a popper, then he'd be like, "Okay, I concede." You know, but like I get the ruling, but it leads to situations like this where it's like I don't know.
It
anyway.
didn't. Again, I was already locked for top 8, so it wasn't like a huge thing.
That's
but like, that's where I was like after I saw his play, I was like, that makes sense. Okay, I get why you wanted to play that. And so, but then after that match, we cut to top 8. And I'm excited. I topped 8 2 days on Valda. Like, this deck feels good. It feels really good. I'm feeling like I'm in it. And we get the like breakdown, and my first round in top 8 is Easton Douglas on Mario. And
I saw that like live. I saw that you had that matchup. I was like, oh no.
And it was something where he hadn't played into a lot of Valda, which I'm like, I know gave me a bit of help, especially in turn 0. But it was something where he hadn't played into a lot of Valda, so he wasn't exactly sure a lot of what Valda did. And that's where I remember at the beginning of the match, he's like talking out loud to himself. I'm like, I've got to like be like straight faced. I can't give any extra information. And I'm like, before the match, I'm like, I have to play out of my mind. This has to be the best in Flesh and Blood I have ever played. I'm like, this has to be perfect Flesh and Blood for me to win this game. And we sit down, we start playing this match, and like he made a mistake turn 0 by playing Codex of Inertia, thinking that Valda can't like use a lot of the cards in her deck. But I know like I build Valda to very much use all the cards in her deck all the time.
Yeah, especially since you don't have the crash and bashes, and I think this you do have Valhalla Riven.
Yeah,
right?
it's like I have that one, but it's like I try and like build my deck that through both turn cycle, or like even if like the opponent takes an off turn, I can mostly just use my entire hand. And off the top, I get an E-Strike, which is like
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I hit E-Strike. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. And then he actually doesn't throw a very strong attack. And then in response, I throw E-Strike, go again, E-Strike, go again, Titan's Fist for 4.
Hell yeah.
So pretty strong, but my response if he didn't codex inertia would still be E strike into E strike because that would have been my hand. Was like I had E strike in hand and I had E strike on top, and I wasn't going to block with the E strike in the situation that he could have presented in attacks.
So
So
it
it
was
would have
only
just
2 more
been
damage anyway. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, it wasn't like a huge deal.
Or no,
It
more?
was
No, 2 more damage. Yeah, yeah.
three.
Because you would have said the second E strike for 7.
Yeah.
So it was
The hammer. Yeah,
So,
so 2 more damage. Yeah, but that's where it's like it. Like the first turn wasn't super strong in that manner, but I played what I think was a perfect game.
oh hell
I
yeah.
played so well. I had the counter to everything. I sat in like a staunch in my arsenal for like 4 turns until he did like a double codex play or something like that. Where it's like there's a lot of points where I could play it, but I'm like, this isn't the right point. Like I can take this on hit because I can still present damage. I can still throw hammer. I have 3 seismic surge. I can throw this attack for 8. I can do this, that, or another thing. It's like this isn't what I need. And then late game is like a huge pivotal turn where I can't even remember exactly what the first attack was, but there's an attack that originally came, and I had 2 staunches, one in arsenal, one in hand, and he threw the first attack, and I was able to like perfectly block it for 7 with staunch from hand because he played cut to the chase into I think it might have been like kiss of death, like cut to chase, kiss of death. So he knew I had the staunch, so I was able to block with the staunch, and then he codexed from arsenal, I think, or maybe it was from hand, but he codexed, got or maybe he played a natural. Anyways, what happened was he was able to play the 1 for 6. If it hits, give a token, which
Oh,
we're
death
pretty
touch.
late game. Death touch. Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty late. I ended the game at 8 life. Like spoiler alert. So pretty good. But it was something where it's like super late, and I still don't want to get hit by that because if I get hit by that, I can get a blood rot, which can really put me behind, or inertia, which doesn't let me arsenal. Like all the tokens on that are actually kind of valuable. Even like frailty, least valuable on Valda. Like my hammer comes in for 3, but death touch came in, and I had the other staunch, which I was able to block, and then I was able to hammer and arsenal a card. And I think that's the turn that I'm like, I think I just won this game. Like I think that was his out, and I was able to stuff it, and I think I just won this game. But let's continue playing. We'll see how it like goes. But I played what I think was a perfect game. I'm like, I
Hell
played
yeah.
out of my fucking mind. It was so good.
Let's fucking
I
go.
I was so locked in though. Like I was thinking so hard, I kept forgetting to breathe.
Oh
Like I
no.
was so locked in. But because like so I'd be thinking, I'd be like, it's like, dude, it's okay. He's like, it's just a top 8 match. I'm like, oh no, I'm not that stressed. I'm just thinking really hard. But I like locked in, and I like after that match, I'm like, I think I played a perfect game. It felt so good. And then I want to say like shout out to Alex from Ashen Wings TCG. It was like he was there. He was like my hype man. He was so good. I think like he helped me like talk through a couple matchups before the matchup too.
That's sick.
Like
So
huge
cool.
shout out to him. Like he was there supporting me the whole time through like top 8. So I
Oh
just
yeah.
wanted to say that it was so cool. But then going into round 2 or like top 8 for round 2, I played into Ari on Phi. And that's another matchup where I'm like, I don't want to see Phi. I've
Yeah.
got to play the best flesh and blood of my life, which like it was it was a really good game. And I think like over the weekend I definitely got some points to people not knowing how to sideboard. And I think Ari got really close to like the actually knowing how to like the correct cards to sideboard. We talked about it after the game, like, oh, they maybe add like this 1 or 2 cards, but most of the sideboard I thought was actually really correct. But it was a crazy game because I kept thinking like, oh, this is the turn I gain the momentum and win the game. I'm like, I'm throwing this dominated attack, all the armor's gone. This put them in their place is gonna hit. I'm gonna have momentum. I'm gonna win this game. And like I don't know how many turns in a row defense reaction from Arsenal blocked my crush effect. I'm like, oh, that's really bad. I'm falling behind. But I have this one out. And I just remember this one turn where Ari went to combo off on me. And I'm like, this is assault the wound turn. Like, I might lose. This is assault the wound turn. And it ended up not being assault the wound turn. And because I was so ready for like salt the wound, I ended up saving cards to block the like salt late. Like I blocked with my armor, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna block with the salt late. And it ended up not being the salt the wound, which allowed me to like I kept my aggressive cards, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I like this is really good for me, and I was able to steal momentum, and that's it still was like such a close game because I like stole momentum. I'm like, I'm winning this game. And then there was a turn where I was like able to go like 3 wide on me, and I was like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
still like closer than I want it to be. And it ended up at I like got down to 3 when I finally took Ari out. It was such a good game though. It was an amazing game.
That's cool.
And I was like, okay, I'm in the finals. This is the first time I've ever been in the finals. And so I was like, this is sick. This is so cool. I'm like so hyped up. And then we got like, and there's like a group of people like hype me up, like, oh, this is awesome. You've got this. I'm like, this is so cool. And I go stand over and watch Michael Lau play Victor v Prism. And I'm like, and Alex is like, this is good for you. You're good into both decks. I'm like, I am, but it's two amazing players. Like, this is going to be stressful. And Prism can just like Prism's a scary deck. And I watch him like just I forget which aura it is, but the one that deals arcane. Like I watch him get the Victor stuck where it's if you throw the hammer, it's gonna deal like 12 arcane
Yep.
because they have 3 of them out. And I'm like, I'm like, I think or like it was I was watching and I'm like, I saw how he was playing Prism deck. I'm like, he's playing so well. I'm so scared for our matchup. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he very obviously knows how to like arcane combo Guardian. So I'm like, I'm putting in my arcane barrier for sure. And it was like crazy watching that game. I'm like, oh man, like this is scary. Like this looks like a scary Prism opponent. Like I don't know if I can do this. And it was something where I'm like, and we had that classic conversation outside, just like, hey,
Right. Wait, so,
you
so
know how
so
it goes.
Michael did win. So he right. So you're played in the
So
final.
he won, and I played the Prism in the final.
Okay. Okay.
We had that conversation, but I was just like, I don't want to just split. Like, if I get it, I want to earn it, and that was kind of like, so that was a conversation. I'm like, I want to earn it. I don't want, just to get this, and it's like maybe the one tournament that I can go to, so that would
Yeah.
be cool, anyways. But I was like, but I want to earn it. So we sit down to play this game, and I like for the 3rd game in a row played the best Flesh and Blood of my life.
Hell yeah.
I was so locked in top 8. I don't think I made a single mistake all of top 8. Like after every single game, I'm like, I think I played that perfect. Like I can't think of a single value I lost. I can't think of a single turn where I would have done something else after the fact. Like, oh, okay, well, the opponent, like I did this, the opponent then responded with this. I should have thought about that. Or like, I felt bad that I did this because I did like even when like the defense reaction against like Fi in the second game, like, okay, that's pretty bad, but I don't think that was the wrong decision, even though like they had the
Right.
out. Like I
You
still
still want to
felt
make
like
him
I was
have it.
making
Yeah.
I'm like, I still felt like I was making the correct decisions. And when it's Valda v Prism, like doing that, it was brutal. And it like felt so weird because it got late game. I got Prism down to 5 health. And I was like looking, I'm like, there are so many auras on the board right now. I could get stalled out and killed. But if I just throw 10 to face 3 turns in a row, what can Prism do? I'm like, I don't think Prism can win this. And I threw like 10 dominate, and then I threw hammer for 4 at the prism, and I'm like, hammer for 4 at face. You have a bunch of auras, I'm throwing it at face. And I got them down to 1 life. And then it was something where I had the pummel on top of it. And it was the situation of like, I'm forcing you to have it. Like, I'm forcing you to have the solution right now. And it forced them to like turn their last angel over and pop the ward to survive. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I also have like, and at this point, I still had like, I think 2 seismic eruptions and like 2 of my Valhalla Rivens in my deck.
As long as
so
you
I'm
keep
like,
the tempo, you get to.
I'm like, as long as I keep tempo, I think I have this. And then I put them in their place, seismic eruption, a blue,
Hell yeah,
and a popper, and I was able to like pop what they're throwing, seismic eruption, 10 dominate for the win, and it was surreal. It was so cool, and it's like it was such a good day, and like there was some awkward hands in there too, where I had an all red hand, or no, I had a Midas touch yellow in 3 reds, and it's something where like normally you want to take Midas touch, sit on it, and arsenal it, but this is where like the turn where I pivoted at 5 life, I'm like, do I just throw 10 each turn? Because I had a seismic surge and I had to put them in their place in arsenal, and that's where I was like, I can just throw this, pitching my entire hand. I'm like, and throw it at face, and hopefully steal momentum. It was something where like I want to say like the top 8, I played perfect games, and it felt so good. When I'm like my little short aside, like I think I perfectly cycled through my seismic surges. I have the 3 Marvel seismic surges because I'm a crazy.
Oh yeah.
But I think I perfectly cycled through my seismic surges both days. I think I was.
Yeah.
I was
practice
like,
that for Sunday.
yeah, it's. I don't think I missed a beat with that. I'm like, I cycling. You saw all 3 get equal play time. It was beautiful, and then I was able to get there. And I already opened my gold foil because like it was my first one. I had to open it in the moment, but for the viewers
and for the listeners, say what it is once you
and
have
listeners, yeah.
Oh,
So if you,
what is that?
I don't actually remember the name of the card.
It's like something Synapse. It's the Teklo helmet.
It is the Teklo helmet. So it's a
one spark cap.
Block. Yes, thank you. It is the 1 block battle worn action tap, banish Neva from your hand and create a ponder. So
yeah, the majestic
helmet.
Now
need to build Teklo Boston is what I've learned.
That's so sick. Are you gonna keep it in that case, or are you gonna like try to get it graded or like unslab it or un?
I keep it in this case.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think I'm gonna sell it. It's like a trophy to me. Like it's,
you have to keep
it's my first gold foil. Yeah, it's my first gold.
You can never get rid of it.
And it's also a good gold foil too. It's not like Coat of Frost or something. You know? So it's like it's cool.
No Ironhide Gauntlet, right?
I also got the yellow points on Valda. You look at this week, you're gonna see the PQ results. There's 2 Valda wins. I am one of them.
One of those is Jacob.
So cool. That's so cool, and
that's so
I'm
sick.
so excited. It was just such a cool weekend. I didn't make it to the armory this week, but I think it was such a good weekend, and I definitely felt like going into like top 8, I'm like, I am running into an unfavored matchup. I ran into 2 unfavored matchups. I'm like, I can still win this, and I think it like helped again with like Alex like hyping me up and is like there supporting me, but and like the other people as well. But it was like, I can win this. I just got to play the best Flesh of Blood of my life, and I did it. I made it, and it's cool. I think Valda is a very strong deck right now too. I think she's a sleeper pick. I think the only problem is Arachne Marionette. Like that's the big problem. But like we'll look more into like the PQs. But like Victor won the most in the last week. Like I already told you guys, like Valda owns the horse, so it's That feels pretty good. Acilio feels pretty good. Vincent feels pretty good. Arachne Huntsman, I think, can feel pretty good if you play it better than I did, which you definitely can. It's like, and then you're good into the Guardian Mirrors generically. I think RKO's not as bad as people make it out to be. I have a pretty good win rate into RKO, but yeah. Anyways, that was my week in Flesh and Blood. It was a pretty
That's
cool
a
week.
sick week in Flesh and Blood. Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't realize you were going to the Sunday PQ as well. So I was surprised to see that you were like, oh yeah, I'm going to that one. Or I can't remember how I knew you went to that one. But regardless, that was cool that you had the ability to go to 2 back-to-back PQs.
Yeah. It was the only 2 PQs I could make too.
Yeah, and you top aided both. That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. It felt like all the like practice and everything I put into the deck like really mattered. All the thought and everything, like everything mattered so much. And there's a lot of things I learned because like I had played on Talishar with Overcrowded. I didn't realize how good that card is, especially in Valda when it's always at least a block 3. And if the opponent's doing anything, is a block 4. I've got it to block 5 on throughout the day a lot of times. Like in the Arachne Marionette, it's a 0 for 5 block a lot of times. I have a
Right.
Seismic Surge. Oh, Codex of Inertia. Oh, Codex of Frailty. Whatever codex, like anything that creates tokens, it blocks 5. It's even then it's just a 4 block or a 3 block. It's such a strong card. And it's something where it's like there's still changes I think after the event. There's just a couple small changes I'd make to the list. But I'm super happy with the list. I'm like I think it went over very well, and I had extra Vincent tech that I didn't even end up using. Like
What is the
I
extra set
had
tech?
I had Warmonger's Diplomacy in my
Oh,
deck,
duh.
which I used, but I never played it.
Right.
Like in both matchups when I wanted to go play it, I'm like I just have better things I could be doing, and Valda does have a lot of non-attack actions, so I'm worried to say attack and then have like a turn that is like my oh like tectonic instability or promising terrain or terra
Right.
sunder turn like the
You
next
have to
turn and
arsenal
then we
attack to make it worth it, probably.
yeah and then even then like a lot of times presenting the pressure is better than just taking an off turn
Yeah.
because like the thing about Vincent like Valda v Vincent is like you have to be the aggressor but still have the ability to do the guardian flip to fatigue, which like I think makes you pretty strong in the Vincent, but I think it's really easy to make a mistake where it's like you go aggressive at the wrong point, then you lose because you didn't block enough, and then late game you get killed by that because they were able to throw a big enough turn
Yeah.
or enough disruption.
I think like not to go too much into the Warmongers like sideboards and the Vincent matchup, but I think Warmongers is necessary for if they're trying to do like some big setup, right? Like if
Yeah.
they're like just blocking out, setting up their banish zone, playing like a time snap or playing their Malefics, you get to go like okay, here's Warmongers, take 5 blood debt. Good luck using that whole hand.
And then like the other thing about Valda is like she just presents so much aggression as a guardian. Vincent can't just stack. She can't just like, I'm gonna stack a 40 damage combo because you lose by that point. So
Yeah.
I think it's super tough for the Vincent, but I think it's also something where like Valda can very easily, if you make a wrong pivot turn, if you don't defend when you need to defend versus attack, I think you can definitely lose that game. And that's where it's like you but yeah, that's small things about the deck. But yeah, so if you that is that deck. And I'm
Dude,
going to be posting
I was about to
a
say
deck
new
tech.
PQ winning Balda deck tech. That's
It's going
gotta
to be
happen
coming
now.
out later today, which
Oh
it
hell
might
yeah!
be out by the time this video comes out. It was something that I'm like, I posted on Blue Skies to see if there's anything that like anyone would want, but I don't think anyone responded, which is fine. The
Well,
last
you
one
should ask
went
in
over
the
pretty well.
Discord. You should say, is there anything you guys would like to see in a Balda deck tech?
That's a good idea.
You,
This
I would also review the last your last deck tech. It still gets views. Actually, it got a comment I think today that I replied to.
Oh wow.
Because they were like, oh, what about Silver Age? I was like, that might be coming soon too.
Yeah.
But yeah, people still look at that video, so you can kind of see what their questions were.
Yeah, but yeah, it's cool. So that's gonna be coming out. But not to dwell on all of this for too long. Let's jump into like the rest of the news
we never
because there's quite a bit.
We could never dwell on your PQ win for too long. Last question, actually, before we move on. Are you gonna go to LA?
LA, or do you mean Vegas?
Is it Vegas? I thought it was LA. It might be Vegas, isn't it?
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas. Okay, my bad. Are you gonna go to Vegas?
Waiting to get the vacation time approved. The only
you're
problem
planning to go at least.
It's around the same time as inventory, so that's where I'm like, I think I should be fine because I think it's 2 weeks in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping, and I think I should be fine. I really want to go, like especially now. I really, really want to go.
Yeah, you should try to see if there's like anybody that can take your shift or anything. Because getting to go like to a PQ for the first time would be really cool.
Yeah, and I think like if I like walk up to my manager, I'm like, hey, I'm invited to like this pro event. Like I think I could. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. That's what I'm saying. It's just like
I just really want to see you on stream and cheer for you. That'd be sick.
If it were any other month, it would have been 100%. It's just very unfortunate the month that Vegas is in that it's like a 90%. So
I see. Well, cool. Hopefully that works out. That'd be sick.
I would love to go and play in
that. But yeah, for the rest of the podcast, we have a lot of information to cover. First, the PQ Week 5 results. Very different from the past few weeks. The number one performing deck was Victor, with 17 wins, or 20% of the meta share. Followed by Arachne Marionette with 13%. Then Arachne Huntsman with 8%. Then Acilia with 8%. Vincent 8%. Gravy 7%. And then a ton of like 5s, 4s, 3s. It's like a very diverse chart. Like Gravy, Jarl, Ko, Cheeto, Syndra. I'm not surprised to see Dio all the way down there now. With the top of the meta being Victor, Marionette. I personally think Huntsman's a good matchup actually, but I digress.
From what I hear from Huntsman players, I think they agree actually that you're bad at Dio.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty good for Dio. But regardless, the top 2 decks are not ideal for Dio. So I'm not surprised to see her down there. And then there's some Valda down there at the bottom. Half of which is from this podcast.
It's so cool.
That's
one little short aside that I forgot to say. One cool story. I actually I don't take pictures of games very often. But playing the Victor, like one of the Victor games, Victor got double gold main estate. They got that turn. And so they had 11 mites. Victor on the next turn proceeded to throw 19 damage at me. I was able to block 16 of it, blocking the crush effect, and responded with 13 damage.
What? I guess you have a lot of seismic surges.
Yeah. When you have the defense reaction, that's free. If you can draw 5 or 3 or more seismic surge, it's pretty cool. I also had 15 seismic surge that turn because they were trying to dig through their deck to see if they can get any extra like disruption or a bigger attack.
Seismic surges.
Yeah, I had 15 seismic surges, so it was crazy.
That's funny.
Like I had double-digit seismic surges. I think like 4 times over the weekend. Which is insane.
I've been getting to like 8 seismic surges pretty often in Silver Age too. It's crazy how many you can get.
Yeah, they made it very easy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, if Victor becomes the best deck, I have the deck to beat Victor.
Hell yeah, you do. Owns the horse.
Owns the horse. I could just be the title of the episode. Valda owns the horse.
I like that. Although I was gonna name it Jacob wins a PQ, which is kind of cool, but I could. I'll work with it. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it.
But yeah, then we have the final standings for ProQuest Las Vegas. Marionette being the most dominant very closely followed by Verdance, who would probably have been first had she been legal the last week.
She definitely would have been first if she was legal last week.
Yeah. And then Victor won so much in week 5 that he became third on the overall final standings. Then Huntsman was 4th most winning.
Crazy.
Insane.
This is a timeline I never thought we'd be living in.
Then Dash.io, then Acilio, Gravy, Vincent, Kasai, so on and so forth. Any thoughts on these pie charts before we move on to the BNR?
It looked super healthy. And like after playing the 2 pro quests, like it's fun. I played Valda, one on Valda, and she's on the pie chart, obviously, but she's not very high up there. And I felt like I definitely had a chance. I walked in the room with statistically not the best deck in room and felt like I had best deck in room. Like it's a cool meta. It's a really cool meta.
Yeah, really cool meta. I agree. I think it is interesting that now that Verdance is gone, it's become a very like defensive Guardian meta. We'll get to that in a minute with calling Memphis, but I think that's the only comment I have is it's a very defensive Guardian meta now. Unfortunately, Dash.io doesn't feel too good because of that. You can still do very well, but it's not the ideal meta for you.
Takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, let's jump into the BNR. So this is the CC BNR because we had the Silver Age BNR after the Silver Age ProQuest season, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure exactly the right terminology for naming that part of the the ProQuest season. But anyway,
that's the correct way to state it.
I think it's the most, everyone understands what I mean.
Yeah.
So this was meant for just CC. So there were 2 changes, but they're basically inconsequential changes. So since Verdance just LL'd, they unbanned Rootbound Carapace. And then they also decided that Scepter of Pain was no longer a problem either. And so it was also unbanned. So no bannings, just 2 cards getting unbanned. But the bigger part about this BNR was the Silver Age. It's so funny. Like there's the CC section, it's like this long, and then the Silver Age portion is this long. All to say no.
And then there's another
Silver Age. Yeah. Okay, and then there's another CC after that. But long story.
So
go ahead.
You say that there's a big Silver Age section, all to say no changes, but I think that is probably the most surprising thing about this announcement is there are no changes to Silver Age.
Actually, I don't know that it's surprising. I would say that I don't remember them actually saying specifically back when they made the Viserai LL Armory deck, and then they banned cards out of it because it was Chain. I think that was too strong, if I remember correctly, for an LL.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm getting at is there was all this discussion around whether or not they would ban cards out of the Armory deck that was not even released yet. It was just announced. And they ended up doing it. They ended up banning cards out of it. So the deck when it came out was not a legal deck. And I can't remember if they meant if they like.
And it was for like a week, and then Chain won almost every event, and they emergency banned it again because they realized that was a mistake.
Different changes. Yeah. So I don't remember if they like specifically talked about their philosophy on banning cards in Armory decks in their product releases when they did those changes. I can't remember, but here they didn't. They strictly lay it out. They say we don't want to touch cards in this new product. We want people's first experience not to be to open up a deck and then be told cards are banned. And I understand that. I think that it makes a lot of sense.
I do.
This is product for new players. I can't imagine how many players would bring their KO deck to their local Silver Age Armory, and then they try to play it, and their opponent's like, that card's banned. And they're like, I literally just bought this. Like, I bought this today, sleeved it up, and wanted to play, and you're telling me there's already banned cards in this. Like that. I get it. I understand. I don't disagree with them at all. Not to mention that the Silver Age deck is very close to the optimal, like the Silver Age chapter deck, I should say, is very close to the optimal KO deck.
I want
And
to say that they are definitely getting the statement of 20 $20 ticket to the
yep,
$2 million world tour. Like this KO deck is the best deck. This KO deck
yeah,
on the shelf will win you a pro tour. Like I'll give them
exactly.
that. I'll give
Pretty
them
cool.
that. Yeah, I mean that is cool.
Yeah, pretty cool that they actually kind of. I mean, it's funny that they nailed it, but then didn't quite see. I mean, I guess it was a different meta when it came out, right? There was Briar was the best deck, but it is
Like
funny
to
that
get
they made this very strong deck and then like didn't realize just how strong it was before they released it.
I mean,
Um,
to give them a lot of credit, like how they were banning cards in Silver Age, is they just had everything legal and they were slowly taking off like
right.
cards until they and ban them that way. I'm sure there was a lot of decks before KO was the meta deck. I'm sure there was a lot of decks where they had to ban certain cards off of the list until KO is now meta. I
Right.
like there's probably so many things, like so many metas that they play deep that it is so hard for them to have reached KO being meta. Which
It's
like
such a large card pool too. Like
and I mean we saw
super large.
Briar and they were okay with how Briar was before the ban. And like again, I think they said that it wasn't exactly built the way that we had built, like, or that the public had built it. And I think it's also like, again, like chain was legal. Like, you had all like it has like 30 cards on the ban list already. Like, they had all those cards legal beforehand. That told them they needed to ban those cards. So that's why I'm like, to give them a little bit of credit, like, I can understand how like going through all this testing, KO and Briar slipped through the cracks. Briar, I think, is a little surprising to me. KO is totally understandable, especially with like the perception that Brutes have always had of being like the weak class. Like, okay, like oh, no one's ever LL'd as a Brute. Like, so I think it makes a lot of sense to me. I'm like, what surprises me the most is this is the competitive game, and it feels like, and I'm surprised that they're like, Uh, I'm not surprised. I think it's hard to say if this is 100% the correct decision, but I think it's like good for growth of the game. But it's, I'm sure, very frustrating for competitors going into the Pro Tour. And KO is going to be a very strong deck in the Pro Tour. He's probably going to
Yeah.
be the most represented deck that we've ever had in a Pro Tour.
Yeah, and actually, I can go over the Memphis stats too. Whenever
Yeah.
we talk about the Silver Age
And
meta.
that's And I think that's really hard playing a game that like strives itself about being the competitive game. And I still think it is. Like CC is
Mhm.
beautiful right now. Like I was talking about how like I felt going in with what is statistically like the 15th best deck, felt like I was going in with the best deck with the
Yeah.
knowledge I had. And that's why I'm like, I think it's like CC is really good. And it's like I think it's just hard to go in and be like, well, I just have to play KO mirrors, which isn't entirely true. Like I've like you know me, I'm the Valda guy. I will rep Valda all day, especially in Silver Age, because Valda's technically better in Silver Age than she is in CC. So it's like I
Yeah.
think like
We'll get into Silver Age
I
meta,
can
but
just
yeah.
see the yeah. I'm like I could just see how people are frustrated with this, and I think the longer I sit with this, the more okay I am. I think when I first saw this announcement, I was like, what are they doing? Do they know what they're doing? But like sitting on it longer, it's like okay. And I think like also you've been doing a lot of Silver Age testing from what I hear, and it's like you say it's very diverse, and you are I think naturally more of a normally and naturally more of a competitive player. And if you're like saying it's pretty cool and diverse, and there's still some stuff to be discovered, it helps me like too.
Yeah.
So it's like
So and yeah, let me go over that like real quick because
yeah,
yeah, there's definitely a lot of like doom and gloom about this, but I don't think that it's entirely deserved. So I would encourage everyone to use the February meta results tab. Um, it's under stats meta results, and you can go to like last 7 days Silver Age, and you can take a look at these stats, and you'll notice something interesting about these stats. And obviously, take these with a grain of salt. It's just random talent show games. But I'm gonna read off the stats for you. And I'm gonna read off overall win rates first. Ira, 57%. KO, 50%. Valda, 57%.
My
Florian, 54%.
Mm.
Phi, 52%. Briar, 54%. Oldhim, 60%. And then I'm going to jump down to Dorinthia, 58%. Do you notice anything about those stats?
There's a Zen at 64%.
I didn't even see that.
Or Zen's at 64.
Yeah, all the way down
Victor's
there.
at 57. They have a lot less games when you get down that low, but
the further you go down, the less accurate it is. But what you'll notice is KO actually is not that good. It's not doing that hot. And the reason for that is because the meta has shifted. Everyone kind of realized, okay, this is the best deck. How do we attack this? How do we play this meta in a way that punishes this deck for being the best deck? And people figured it out. You look at these stats for KO, they are losing into Ira. They are really losing into Valda. They have a 23% win rate into Valda. They are losing to Briar at 39%. They are really losing to Oldhim at 29%. They're losing to Dash, 40%. They're losing to Vincent, 39%. Like, there's all these options of decks you can play that are actually very solid options that aren't KO. Like, sure, KO can do some disgusting turns, but so can these other heroes can also do disgusting turns too. I think that, like, it's KO is definitely the level 0 meta deck, right? Like, you play it, you will just win games you shouldn't win regardless, right? It is a very strong, inherently strong deck. But I think that it's been a bit overblown. I think that the meta is actually super interesting. I think that there are plenty of really good options of decks to play. And it's just ever shifting too, because the more the meta swings into these anti-KO decks, the more it can start swinging even further into like these anti-KO decks. And it's just an ever evolving format right now. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of people like will have a pretty what's the word I'm looking for? People dislike early BNRs, typically, because usually it's a little bit heavy-handed and not entirely necessary to be as heavy-handed as it is. Because metas, whenever there's a best deck, sometimes it's the best deck is not really counterable, right? Like, we can look back at Zen, we can look back at Aurora, these decks that are just not doing anything that you can particularly target.
Nothing you can interact with.
Yeah, like, you have a hard time interacting with it. Or the ways that you can interact with it, the deck is just not good at anything else. Like, it's just inherently only good into the top deck. Whereas this is not the case with KO. And we're seeing it happening live, where this deck has weaknesses, it has flaws, and people are learning how to take advantage of it. And so the meta has evolved in a way that KO, I wouldn't be comfortable bringing KO to any big tournament. I played the deck. I get it. I see the strength, but at the same time, I would not feel comfortable bringing that deck in to win a tournament. It's too targeted. It's got flaws. It's got a variance issue, so on and so forth. So all this rambling to say, I think some people saw this, lack of changes and were doom and gloom about it. And I think people that have that feeling just haven't played enough Silver Age. Which I get. It's hard to get interested in a format when you have that preconceived notion. But I'm here to tell you, Silver Age is great. It's been so much fun preparing for this Battlegrounds that I have this Sunday. The format is healthy. It's very interesting. There are plenty of options of decks to play. There are a lot of tech options. I think the sideboarding choices and like the deck construction part of Silver Age is so interesting. It's been like, I think I've already said it. I'm playing Valda this day. The amount of choices I have in terms of the blue base and the sideboarding and what cards I want to, like, what decks I want to respect versus not respect is insane. By the way, last night I lost to a Max on Talishar, And that deck actually, I was impressed. I was actually impressed. The deck was good. It was actually pretty good.
Must have played Tanner.
It might have been. But no, I was impressed. I was like, this deck is not a meme. This deck has legs. And so yeah, I think that the format is super interesting. There is a lot of play to it. I would suggest to everybody just play it. Just play the format. Just take a look at it. Try it out. You'll be surprised.
I think the other fun thing is like there's a lot of like even if you don't want to play it seriously or competitively, there's a lot of really fun things to be doing in Silver Age.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's
Life of the Party Ninja
exactly.
is sick. And it's like, okay, or like you could do Doubling Season Terra. Like that's one of my favorite decks. I don't win with it, but is it the most fun thing I do in Flesh and Blood? Yes. So it's like it is so much fun to like pull these really weird and unique cards that you just don't have the room to play in CC. And so that's when like I like say all this. I still think there's a lot of room to improve in like Silver Age. Like I think that there are a lot of decks if you want to sit down in a competitive level that still don't quite make the cut. But there is a meta. It's not just KO the deck. As much as I said over the last few weeks that I was a little sarcastic in that, but it's not that.
Yeah, I think that's another preconceived notion a lot of people have is that they think of commoner power level when they think of Silver Age.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the case.
Oh, no.
It is not the case at all.
No.
It's not even close. These decks are strong. And yeah, like you mentioned too, there are so many cards that sure they're not good enough to play in CC, but because of the way that Silver Age works, you have such a much larger card pool of things that you would never even seen before, but they're actually nuts in this format. It's really cool. But yeah, all that to say, going back to the BNR, I am not only not surprised by the lack of bans, I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. I think that the meta is actually in an okay place. Would it be maybe better if KO had a ban? Sure. But I think it's actually a very fine format.
My biggest thing is they actually thought that wizard card was actually meant to be a ban on Kano, not like a preemptive ban for Blaze. Like that's what I saw. I'm like, that was actually meant to like do something to Kano. Like I guess it did a little bit, but well, because when a deck comes out, they're going to unban. Like the biggest thing is, or like maybe not the biggest thing, but when a deck comes out, they're gonna unban the cards. So if that's in the Blaze deck, it's gonna be legal. Burn Up Shock, I can only assume is in the Briar deck. And if it is, it's when Briar comes back, it's gonna be, or when Briar comes out, it's gonna Burn Up Shock is gonna be legal.
Yeah.
So these cards that were banned are gonna be unbanned.
Right. That's a good point. Actually, I didn't think about that. That there's gonna be unbannings that are gonna happen because of this philosophy.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Which I think is fine.
I think
again, because like the thing is that the power level can only be so high in this format that you can do some interesting things with the decks and not just get stomped.
Yeah. So I was just being a little silly because like I thought it was funny because like everyone's like, oh, the wizard band is obviously just for Blaze. And then we are told that it is not for Blaze and actually meant for Kano. And I felt like that was the consensus everyone had.
That is that's a good point. We'll see how good Blaze is when she comes out.
So enough Silver Age talk on our CC ban list.
We have more CC bans actually.
We have more CC.
Remember when I said there were no bans in CC? I actually kind of lied. Yeah, that is true. They're not. I only half lied. These are not currently banned, but they will be banned. They are pre-announcing bans for Omens of the Third Age. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. So you want to cover these?
Oh yeah. So we're gonna get Channel Lightning Valley, Electric Somersault, Phantom Tidemaw, Reaping Blade, Skyward Serenade, and Volzar the Lightning Rod are all coming out all getting banned on May 28th. One thing I want to say about this, like, it's super cool to get it so early, like to know all this. I think a lot of this was like obvious. You are supporting the already three best classes in what is considered the one of the best talents in the game. I think a lot of people were expecting a lot of bands to come out. I don't think as like I there it's a little rough that people bought Channel Lightning Valley when they did, and it's unfortunate. And I know a lot of people felt burnt, and maybe they should have mentioned at least Channel Lightning Valley, like with the announcement of the set. But it's like cool to know it's so early. I also think like there was some speculation that it was going to be banned anyways, and I'm sure it would have felt way worse to just ban it at the set release and let people buy it up for how many months and then ban it. So I think this is like,
I think clearly enough people did not buy Phantom Tide Mob before Enigma came out,
yeah,
and
I
and
had my
didn't learn
playset.
already not to buy cards before before the full set is released.
Yeah.
Because I
But
did
yeah,
that, and I learned. I was like, I'm not buying shit until the full
I-
set was released. Because that Phantom Time Mob was not used at all in Enigma. It was not good, and it was like a $40 card, similar to Channel 8. It was like 40. I think it was like 30, $40 before the full Mistville set came out. Because people thought it was gonna be good. They're like, oh, it's a Ward Illusionist. They're gonna use the Ward Illusionist card from Everfest. I think it was Everfest. Maybe it was somewhere else. But anyway, and so I got them. I was like, I need these cards. I'm going to play the Illusionist. And then the Illusionist just didn't use that card. And so I just wasted money buying them. They didn't even have to ban it for me to lose money on it. But anyway,
but
all that to say,
yeah,
I think that I get it. I feel bad for those people that bought Channel Lightning Valley because I was looking at it myself and it was like $40 or something before the ban. And so buying your playset of those cards just to learn like days later that it's banned and you just threw like $120 in the drain, which first of all you didn't, because those cards will probably be legal in the future and usable. But I get the
at least
frustration.
an LL
or an LL. But yeah, I would definitely just recommend don't try to like pre-speculate these cards. Half the time it ends up not being worth it.
you
Same
can
with,
if
like,
they're super cheap.
like for example,
if they're like $1.
another example. When Gravy Bones was announced and like we had some cards for him, people were gobbling up the Call of the Graves, and then we found out it's just in the Armory deck. And so yeah, it wasn't actually that big of a deal. Like people shouldn't have been buying them up. So long story short, I think it's just a slightly expensive lesson for people to learn. Just don't pre-buy cards like that early.
But yeah, and like electromagnetic somersault was banned in LL or restricted in LL. So it's a card that already had problems.
Yep.
Then like Skyward Serenade came out printed wrong and broke the hero that it was printed for.
That
like,
one was
I think
fairly obvious one.
Skyward, Electromagnetic Somersault, and Channel Lightning Valley were cards you could have expected beforehand, before we saw the bans.
Yeah, I could only imagine how strong Ziggy is with Channel Lightning Valley. Getting to flicker it.
Well, I realize you can't flicker it because it's not illusionist, unless you use that illusionist card that you name a card, and then it's illusionist. You could play that Channel Lightning Valley, turn it into an illusionist card, and then now you're flickering it.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of ways around it.
Yeah.
Also, the way that you deal damage on your opponent's turn kind of makes it rough.
Yeah.
So
it's been crazy. But yeah, and I mean, Phantom Tide Mob is like a super surprise card, but I think it's another card like Talk a Big Game and Berserk. Like, it's a card that's going to be broken when the heroes come out, so we might as well ban it beforehand so it doesn't super surprise. Like
about that one,
like Zephyr. I think everyone's surprised about it, but it's like the Zephyr. Like, I think since Zephyr Needle had that retrieve thing and it had that 1 week of being like absolutely broken, I think they're like, we're just not going to let that happen again, which I respect, and I actually really like that.
Yeah.
I think the two biggest ones that have the biggest impact are Reaping Blade and Voldar the Lightning Rod. And to go into Reaping Blade a little bit, that's what just all the Rune Blades were using. Like, it's just that good of a weapon. Like it's just a 1 for 3. And in a class when you go like, oh, I'm gonna throw this non-attack and do an attack and do this non-attack and finish on my weapon. It's really strong, and it's like strong enough that you like or all these heroes had all these weapons built for them, and they were all running Reaping Blade. Like all these Rune Blades were just running Reaping Blade because it was the best weapon.
Yeah, it's become clear that they over uh what's what I'm looking for. Anyway, they made a lot of the early weapons a little bit too strong. And
Hmm.
we can see that a lot of the newer weapons have these restrictions on them to unlock their value, right? And they're realizing that okay, in order to make the new weapons interesting and to work with the heroes and not to just be overshadowed by previous cards, we need to start removing these previous cards from the game. Because yeah, a one
Hmm.
for three is just very solid rate, um, and it's hard to beat that on new weapons. And so all the new weapons will just be overshadowed by this older weapon unless you
And you
just get
might
rid of it.
say like Warrior has 1 for 3, but that's their entire identity. Like their
Yeah,
identity is having a 1 for 3 sword. That is Dory's identity, is that 1 for 3 sword.
yeah,
And Room Lights just get it. Like
yep.
so like that makes sense. I think the most surprising thing, I actually think the most surprising thing is Volzar the Lightning Rod.
I agree.
They banned Acilio? What? like,
I mean,
like that's
clearly OG Acilio is going to get a new weapon, but
and
it is
yeah.
interesting that they knew that Acilio was getting too many good tools in the new set, and the way they decided to nerf Acilio was by banning the weapon, the signature weapon, mind you.
Which
Um,
like kind of makes sense because that
yeah,
weapon could do some very ridiculous things.
yeah,
Oh, I have 4 life, arcane barrier up. I throw lethal at you, and I have floating pitch. Oh, I'll just play all these instants that are all shocks, and then buff my shock, and then kill you.
yeah. Very interesting
Like this,
to see how it'll evolve because that was super strong. It was the
yeah.
bruising
And
deck was good.
I mean that's when the deck would like do their like 50 damage combos, as they would do a bunch of stuff, and then deal 20 arcane damage.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like it makes sense. It's something I'm surprised. I honestly thought it was going to be Blast to Oblivion, but I could see them
Yeah.
keeping that in
Well, because
favor
Blast
because
is
I
an
think
interesting card. I think it's a really cool
it's
card.
super cool and really interesting.
Yeah.
But it's like I love the card and how it's designed. I think is really good. I think the problem was how it worked with Volzar the Lightning Rod, where you could bounce your stuff and keep
Bounce,
playing
replay,
your
bounce, replay, bounce, replay.
yeah. And like okay, I played like I did 6 damage here, but now that's 6 arcane damage that you can't prevent. So that's why I'm like, I'm surprised to see it. I think it's super healthy for the game, and I'm actually super duper happy that they did this and that they announced this beforehand because I know the sentiment of, and I'm wondering if this is what it was too, because I know this sentiment uh, of like this entire set was when it was announced. Why are we getting this? Lightning's already the strongest class. Wizard is the strongest class in the game currently. Runeblade is historically the strongest class, and Illusionist is historically the second strongest class. Why are we getting this set? Like, why are we like gonna play the strongest talent, like second strongest talent? I still think that Mistveil and Mist is that the talent? I forget all of a sudden.
Mystic.
Mystic, thank you. Mystic, I still think is the strongest talent, but like the second strongest talent of Lightning in the game, and we're getting support for it. And I think this is very healthy because everyone's like, why? Like, no one could enjoy it because we're just getting a more broken stuff for the broken stuff. And I think this will help in spoiler season understanding, like, oh, Ziggy can't just play Channel Lightning Valley, draw on my turn and their turn and combo off because of it. Oh, and we don't have a Cilio 2 that's just doing the exact same thing as a Cilio 1 as best deck and format. And Aurora isn't just Skyward Serenade, throw like 100 damage and can't combo off on you. So it's like I think it's very healthy because like I think it's gonna help a lot of people going into spoiler season to have a much more fun time with it instead of the okay, like why are we doing this? Like why am I watching all these spoilers just to watch every one of these heroes be best deck in meta? I think it like helps clear all that up.
Yeah, and
And I'm very happy.
they basically say exactly that. They say we're preemptively disclosing these bans so players can engage with Omens of the Third Age preview season with knowledge of these upcoming changes, and basically just knowing that these aren't going to be legal. And it is interesting that they say, where is it? We will announce the results of the first round of Silver Age voting, and we'll also be banning, and then in parentheses, at a minimum, the following cards in CC. So they could ban more.
Yeah.
But they're just letting us know about these at a minimum are getting banned.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I like it a lot. I think that I don't like either three of those classes. And like I like elemental, but lightning is like my least favorite of the elementals. So it's something where like I was not engaged and not excited to get all of that to buff those stuff. So that's
I'm super excited.
I'm more engaged now. I'm more excited to see spoiler season now, which I think is good.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this set. I think it's a cool set, but I get it. It feels Bright Lights-esque with the single talent instead of a single. I mean, there's been other sets that have single talent stuff, so I don't know.
I feel like this looks like a the Mistveil set where
it does
everything
seem part
looks like it's going to come out very strong, and
I agree.
it's Illusionist, Runeblade, and Wizard. The three most historically
coolest
balanced classes in Flesh and Blood.
Coolest class is what you mean to say. It's Daddy White's favorites.
It's Daddy White's favorites. But yeah. I mean that's a lot on the ban and restricted announcement for two real unbans.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
But yeah, I think we need to start speed running the rest of this really quick.
Yeah.
But let's jump into the Calling Memphis that happened. We did cover the overall metagame last week, but as a reminder, there were 297 players. The most brought deck was Vincent at 8%, then Acilio at 8%, Victor 7, Valda 7, Marionette 6, Gravy 6, Arachne Huntsman 5, and just a super diverse spread beyond that.
So one little short aside with like the thing with the metagame.
Yeah.
I was at the ProQuest on Saturday and I'm playing Valda and people are like, "Oh, Jacob, you're just playing. You're a meta slave now." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like Valda's not even like the meta guardian." And they're like, "Well, she's the fourth most represented hero." And I thought people were like actually pulling my leg. Cuz like
yeah, no, she is.
I'm yeah, and they're like, I'm like, "No, she's probably like 10th." And they're like, "No, she's 4th." And I'm like, "There's no way." And I like pull it up. Crazy.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
People are coming around. But
yeah, and then conversion rate, the one most converted here was Acilio with 10 Acilios, 43% of them. Then 9 or 47% Marionettes. The most interesting after that is half of the Syndras converted, half of the Teclovosins converted. The one and only Bravo, OG Bravo, converted.
Let's go.
We actually saw this Bravo on stream at it's like 5-1 or something. Like, doing really well.
I miss Bravo so much. I think now that PQ season's over, I'm gonna rebuild Bravo and I'm gonna take him back to the armories. I need to go back to my roots.
You know what's funny is that we were
look at Valda conversion rates. So,
we were talking about Bravo being potentially good, and then Bravo was actually being pretty good. it was kind of cool how we predicted that.
Well, I mean, in the Guardian meta, Bravo's a pretty good Guardian in the Guardian meta.
Pretty good anti-Guardian Guardian.
Yeah.
Top 8. We had 3 Marionettes. Is that right? 3 Marionettes. Yep. 1 Acilio, 1 Prism, 1 Dash.io, and 2 Teklovasins, with one of those Teklovasins being a local, which is
Yeah, I want to
super
say
sick.
huge shout out to Matthew Bauer.
Yeah, really cool. Really, really cool
So
to see
cool.
him. We saw him on stream a few times, I think, or maybe twice. Did really well. Showed Colorado proud. Is sick. Um,
I remember being at like the ProQuest on Sunday, and like we would check in after every round, like, oh,
Yeah.
how's he doing? Like, oh, he's on stream. Let's watch a little bit of the game real quick before the round like starts. It was cool. Like,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah. It's always really cool to see a local up there. The finals was Michael Hamilton on Acilio versus Jacob Clements on Marionette, and Jacob Clements took it down. Pretty big names up there.
Pretty big names.
Anything else you want to talk about Memphis before we jump into the last notes for the episode?
Nope, I'm ready to jump in the last of it.
Yeah, so I don't know if this was announced recently, how recently this was announced, the skirmish season 14, but it's happening April 25th to May 10th. These are some pretty cool promos. There's a Marvel Young Bolton. It is a Silver Age only Silver Age as far as I understand, skirmish.
Mm-hmm.
The playmat is sick. The holo playmat.
The
is so cool.
playmats both look beautiful.
Yeah, they are gorgeous.
Holy moly!
I'm gonna be playing this skirmish season for sure for these prizes. Really cool prizing. As I said, Silver Age meta is actually very good. I recommend you play it. And then if you have the opportunity to go to a local battlegrounds, I suggest going. They are happening starting this weekend. I have one I'm going to. I'm really excited for it. You can get tournament packs with a new really cool full art Marvels just for participation, which is insane. I'm really excited for it. I'm curious to see how often we get these battlegrounds in the future.
Short aside,
yeah.
Any of the locals, if you get a staunch response, I might be willing to buy them off of you.
If I pull a staunch
Especially
response,
the Reds,
I will just give it to you.
oh.
It's all yours.
Okay.
But then you have to give me your zipper hits if you get any.
I'll definitely give you all the zipper hits. I'll try not to throw up on them as I'm passing them over, but you know how it is. No.
I see how it is.
No.
But yeah, that is it for this week. I will anything before we leave the viewers with the question.
Nope, I'm all good.
Right. What are your thoughts on the Silver Age meta? Just regardless of how I've described it myself, have you been enjoying it? Have you played it at all? What are your opinions on it? And let us know if you've actually played the Silver Age season. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend playing Silver Age. But with that, I'm Cody.
And I'm Jacob.
Thanks for watching and listening.